Welcome back, Alpha Hunters. Hopefully, you had a great, fantastic, long weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. Hopefully, you had a great Thanksgiving weekend. Watched some football, had some time with some family, ate a lot of food. And the market still rolled on. It did move a little bit there on Friday. Actually, pretty good movement there on Friday. I think most of everything was pretty much bullish from what I remember. So, yeah, Friday, nice little strong day. I did not put out a market outlook video for the weekend. Mostly just got caught up with family. But I will be changing the thumbnail this next week to Spy Outlook will be underperform. Just because that's just the way I feel about it kind of going forward. I think there's going to be other better areas to kind of be going forward. And, we've kind of mentioned that and talked about that several times over the past couple of months. And so that's just kind of where I'm at. It's not really so much just absolutely get out of the market, which I kind of feel like the sell thing kind of implies that. But it's not just a bail and get out of the market kind of signal. It's kind of more of just, I just don't see the upside here on the SPY. But other than that, we'll just keep trying to find the best areas to be. Basically, a little bit of a gap up to start this week compared to where we closed on Friday. Remember, Friday was the half day sideways action. Not too much kind of going on. Up very slightly there on the SPY. Qs is where we are seeing actually the bullishness, which is kind of rare over the past couple of months to see the Qs doing this well. Qs did gap up about 0.25%. You can see just how strong they have been throughout the day. Currently up about 0.85% there. IWM, marginal gap up, pulled back. Quick little 30-minute bounce there, though, about an hour ago. And then it's been pulling back down. IWM is currently down about 0.5%. DIA, slight marginal gap up, pulled back. Okay, a little bit of a bounce as well over the past 30 minutes. Kind of rolling back over, kind of at the lows of the day. DIA is down about 0.4%. RSP, a little bit of gap up there. And you can see a lot of selling kind of coming in here on the RSP to start the day. Kind of where we ended there on Friday. It's kind of where we kind of left off there today as far as selling down a little bit. A little bit of a bounce, kind of looks like the DIA, a little bit of a rollover here over the past hour with the bounce and rollover. RSP currently down about 0.5%. So last week we had a pretty good gap up there as far as like the daily picture. You can really see it, but we didn't do too much, and that was kind of the interesting thing with last Monday's gap up. Is like that's typically had like the whole market performance over Thanksgiving week is kind of where we gap. So we didn't really do too much after that gap up. Kind of just a slow trickle higher, more just choppiness than anything else. But RSP pulling back a little bit there. Okay, a little bit extended, especially from that gap up from last Monday. DIA, same kind of deal. Nice little bearish engulfing candle forming out here on the DIA today. Okay. Currently below Friday's low. IWM, okay, possibly going to pull back. It's been kind of strong. Mostly it was strong back over here in the beginning of November, but now we probably just going to pull back maybe and just kind of possibly base here a little bit more and continue to push higher later on. So I think you're probably just looking for good entry spots there on the IWM. Q's, nice little extension, nice little pop ever since we kind of pulled back very quickly there on Wednesday. Nice little lower wick, but we rallied by the end of the day. Not really rallied, but kind of just slow trickled higher by the close Wednesday. And then it continued higher on a very low trading day on Friday and continuing higher today. The kind of interesting thing about Thanksgiving week and then the week after, typically you kind of get an opposite reaction or kind of an opposite trading from what Thanksgiving week was. And that's kind of more of just my memory experience, I guess, over the past, decade and a half of trading. While I've kind of noticed trading or kind of pay attention to Thanksgiving week is typically you're bullish, but typically the week after Thanksgiving week, people kind of come in and take profits. Not to say you're hugely bearish the week after Thanksgiving week, but definitely take some profits over the Thanksgiving week gains. And the SPY really not doing a whole lot there on the daily picture, but basically at all-time highs because we did hit all-time high intraday highs today. So that is kind of how some things are going. As far as data points that we will be getting this week, tomorrow we will be getting JOLTS job data. So JOLTS job data, job openings and job quits. Redbook, S&P, PMI. We'll also be getting ISM on Wednesday. Imports, exports, initial jobless claims. There you go. Thursday, getting back to that stuff. The normal, how it normally comes in on the weeks, not all bundled up there on Wednesday like it was last week. And then Friday, we will be getting a very important one, non-farms payrolls and unemployment. So this is one that I thought was going to be very interesting once we get to December and January and we get some of that jobs and unemployment rate stuff, because we will be past the election, right? And are we going to see the post-election, I guess, unemployment, right? You've had this buildup for these election staffs across the country. Will there, now a lot of those staffs, or at least half those staffs are getting cut, right? One party lost, one party stays, is probably gonna, yeah. Well, I guess even the party that wins, right? You're probably still cutting back staffs for election and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how those numbers come in on Friday as far as unemployment and employment and stuff, and how it comes in next month in January. As far as the VIX, nice little gap up Mondays on the VIX, kind of normal at this kind of value range. So, but we are down in the mid-low teens, so probably could just continue to grind higher on the SPY in the market. Dollar, nice little strong bounce back. Watch out for a possible head and shoulder setup here. We got a shoulder here, neckline, head. We came down and kind of took out that previous neckline spot, so you could have a lower shoulder, or even if we do come back up to the previous shoulder spot, watch out for possibility of selling at that spot. Not say it will happen. I'm just saying you will probably get some people that are try to make that shoulder happen on this right side here. So just be mindful of that. Anyways, DXY, nice, strong start to at least this week. As far as we basically opened about where it shows. We opened about where we closed on Friday, so not a huge gap. As far as GLD Gold Trust, kind of just hanging out. Kind of gives you a little sense that maybe we will see a little bit more of a pullback consolidation. Yeah, and we don't even have to pull all the way back down to this previous pivot level that we had in mid-November, because the 100 moving average is now above that level. So we could definitely pull back a little bit, maybe interact with that 100 a little bit. But I still think we will get some. There's some pretty good spots in here. 100 moving average, these little highs right here back from late August, and then these double top highs that we had back in April, May. I think those would be super solid. So, yeah, if gold sets in a pretty good basing here over the next several months, I think you're just going to be looking for really good opportunities there on the GLD. As far as yields, how do yields start out the week? Doing a big doji, intra-day doji. Okay. Not really doing a whole lot. Nice little gap up there on the yields. As far as 10 and 2 inversion, coming down to that zero line, just kind of hanging out right on top of it. Looks like it wants to go back to being inverted, which typically in history, that does not happen for an extended period of time. There might be times where we just kind of flick below that zero line and get inverted again, but not one that is typically long lasting. So that's an interesting look. As far as the HYG high yield corporate bonds, we did have that breakout moment of this neckline that we've kind of been talking about over the past couple of weeks now, right there across these highs. So we got that breakout. A lot of people came back out and did the opposite, because it happened over Thanksgiving week. Yeah, that's the opposite effect that you come out of on the backside of Thanksgiving week. But pulling into those moving averages, I kind of like it. So if you were digging, oh yeah, you know what? I kind of like the eyeball of that breaking out. Man, you gotta really kind of like that. Check into those moving averages, maybe possibly a little bit. Looks like it was quick. Looks like it was quick. As far as LQD, yeah, it also had a pretty good strong week last week, and kind of quickly pulling back into that 50 EMA, where it did come up and hit into that 200 moving average. Quickly pulling back there. TLT just had a quick run last week. A lot of it was last Monday. A quick pop there on bond prices. Did continue higher there into Friday, but nice little gap down today. Also paid a dividend. Dividend came out today, or dividend announcement. So 32.5 cent dividend. How much are we down? 50 cents or so. So definitely gap down more than the dividend payment. So yeah, there is a little bit of a lower move on the price outright. And as far as intraday or market performance or sector rotation for the day, man, we got a huge discrepancy across the market. Wow. Okay, so we got tech is doing pretty well, leading the day there. Discretionaries doing pretty good. Communications doing pretty well. All outperform, all big tech stuff kind of outperforming there on the day. As far as underperformers, staples, healthcare, materials, industrials, real estate, financials, energies, and utilities at the lower end of the day. Utilities actually sneaky good last week. As far as intraday price action, yeah, you see tech, communication sectors up there leading the day. Discretionary is actually underperforming a little bit here over the past 10 minutes or so. Staples, healthcare, real estate underperforming, materials, industrials, financials, utilities, energies at the lower end of the intraday price action. Yeah, you really see here like how much we really we saw really good rotation there in the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes of the trading day, with how much a lot of these sectors just came out and got hit with the sell button right down, and about the only one that had a really significant gap of looks to be like discretionaries. Yeah, discretionaries is a pretty good gap up there. But other than that, man, we see some pretty good rotation there in that first 45 minutes. There's a lot of sectors getting hit with some selling, and kind of like big tech areas are doing pretty good there as far as the start of the day goes. As far as major news headlines, there was obviously we're still getting cabinet picks for the incoming president, and this is probably a big reason why big tech is doing really well on Monday to start the week. And you can kind of see in the heat map, you can see a lot of green over here in big tech world, and Amazon and Tesla. So doing really good there. So there you go. There's that. But if you did just see the heat map, Intel actually is doing really well. So Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger retires after tumultuous tenure. Well, at least that's the headline there from Finance Yahoo. So there you go. Intel CEO did step down. The reason why I'm going to bring that up is we've kind of talked about doing the wheel strategy on Intel. And here you go. This is what it kind of looks like today. And really a lot of that was based around this 24.5 to 25 those two strikes, right? Doing the wheel around those two strikes. And that's kind of just where it has been chopping here over the past couple of weeks. Now you got the Intel CEO stepping down. Obviously, you're getting a pretty good bounce on that. So as long as you've been selling covered calls, selling and writing put options against capital, you're probably still looking pretty good here. Anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if we do continue to see a little bit more of a move higher. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be really, really now paying attention to who would be the incoming CEO there at Intel. Is it going to be someone that's going to look to just outright sell Intel in pieces? And yeah, that might be what shareholders want. There's going to be a lot of people really paying attention to that. I think it's still very solid to probably continue to do the wheel strategy here and just kind of continue to sell covered calls against shares that you own and sell cash secured puts. They're around 24.5, 25. I would be picking as close to probably wherever the stock is at that point in time.